Hello and welcome to the Week 16 review for Good Teams Win, Great Teams Cover. Nearly at Christmas, Father Christmas just around the corner, and games are coming thick and fast. Paul, how was your Week 16?
Yeah, good, thanks. Thank you for taking on hosting duties today. But yeah, good. It felt like it lasted forever, just because I guess we got the extra games on Saturday.
Yeah.
Big week of college football playoffs as well. So I've done nothing but watch football for like 3 full days. It was marvelous, but there was a giant crater in my sofa from just not moving for 3 full days.
Fantastic, Joe. Your week, I guess, is depending on how well an old man manages to deliver on Monday Night Football. Not waiting all the way till Thursday, but how do you enjoy Week 16 up until the Niners game?
Yeah, obviously it was a fun weekend. The 49ers have already clinched a playoff spot without playing, so that's always a fun thing to happen when they're playing. And yeah, it feels like the playoffs are more or less done in Week 16. It's a weird one with just how some of the games went. But yeah, it's more about positioning, and yeah, it's gonna be a fun playoffs. Where it feels like a lot of big teams are not making it this year, so it's lots of fun games. Starting off with, I'm guessing we'll get into it, the Thursday night football.
Yeah, I mean, 2 things there. I don't think there's anything that sums up the Niners' soft schedule more than making the playoffs without playing a game. And secondly, what a disgrace to the brand of Thursday night football this game was. I mean, we'll put the graphic up for the actual scoreline itself, but we had Seahawks 38, Rams 37, Seattle top of the NFC after overtime comeback thriller. Darnold comes up clutch to hand Seahawks number 1 seed advantage. The much maligned quarterback bounces back from mishaps, takes an improbable and impossible to go to down Rams. What a game. Ends in overtime, as we say there. 2-point conversion to seal it. We had a 2-point conversion blown dead that was ended up as a 2-point score. Paul, you're shaking your head. Tell us your thoughts on the game. How do you feel?
It was just crazy, wasn't it? Like it's very much it played so much to the first game earlier in the season, just with, I suppose, more points. Like the Rams were fully in control. This felt like they were going to be cruising, with the key win to take the jump to the front of the NFC West, and they're going to sort the number 1 seed. And then just all hell broke loose. And it all started from that Rashid Shaheed punt return. And could Al Michaels have been any less arsed about that as it happened to kind of break the game open? And then just it took everything. I suppose that was in the title. Took the improbable and impossible to down the Rams, because it felt like everything just ended up having to bounce the Seahawks' way to get this done. 3 2-point conversions, the chaos of the backward pass that was blocked, and therefore it was a live ball and nobody really reacted, and just chaos. And I thought Sam Darnold could have just kind of crumbled, and you know what, fair play to him in this one, because it wasn't going well. The Rams were getting to him again. He had the turnovers, he had a couple of interceptions, but you know what, instead of just kind of completely going under, showed a lot of resiliency, kept going and made key plays when they needed the most down the stretch and in overtime to give the Seahawks opportunity to win, and just a lightning rod of a game. And all of a sudden the Seahawks, the path to the playoffs could be running through Seattle, could be running through San Francisco, but could be running through Seattle as well. And both those teams have the number 1 seed within their grasp. And obviously that's going to be a huge game, but just loved it. Was great. Last thoughts, I'm rambling on. Not too worried about the Rams. It was everything just had to go crazy for the Rams to win. Like, the Rams didn't beat themselves. The Rams played really well. Defensively, they were actually good, even they gave up 38 points. Stafford was great without Devontae Adams. Puka Nacua might not be a great guy, as it turns out, but was an absolute monster on the field. And so not worried about the Rams. Just it took everything and every bit of luck and every bounce to fall the Seahawks away for them to win. But good for them. And Seattle was bouncing. Good to hear 12's back, because that atmosphere was crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. Joe, obviously your 2 rivals for the number 1 seed, but an enjoyable game of football I hope you enjoyed.
Yeah, obviously I was rooting for the Seahawks. I think I mentioned that on the preview. Wanted them to win, so the 49ers have the number 1 seed in their own hands, or the division anyway. And it felt like a typical Sam Darnold game. He had these 2 interceptions, he had his fumble, and the Rams are suddenly on top. And I know, like, I'm similar to Paul. I'm not worried about the Rams and how they're going to go forward. But that 4th quarter, they did go 3 and out, and they had it in their hands. Obviously, special teams, which has been their Achilles heel, it felt like for most of the season. Like Shaheed scored that touchdown, and also missing the field goal as well, the kicker, not doing, continuing his 100% record. And you got to give it to Sam Darnold. I think, like I said, it felt like a typical his game. I'm not going to give him too much credit. Like, obviously, that he got that touchdown to AJ Barner, which he was after the 3 and out and the Shaheed return. It was wet, miles open, and I think that's more call the play calling, and it did nearly overshoot him as well. It was wide open, and then they went reserved again. It felt like a few times when the Rams missed the field goal, you're like, okay, Sam Darnold, this is your chance. March down the field, do what you need to do. And they were a bit conservative, and it goes into overtime, and anything could happen. But give him his flowers for that 9 play, 65 yards. A few huge throws. There was one to Cooper Kupp, which was awesome by Cooper, and then going for the 2-point. I don't know what the commentators were going on about. Just going, I think Seahawks should go for 2. I'm not quite sure. I think that's the place. It's
very weird.
It's the most obvious thing to do, to go for the win, because even if they're tied with there's 3 minutes left, 2 minutes left. The Rams only needed to tie for it to be in their control. So I thought that was weird for commentators, but well played for the Seahawks. And I think these two show why they are the best 2 teams, not just in the NFC, in the NFL, where I'm fairly confident most weeks that they'll come out top against other teams. So, well played for the Seahawks.
I shout out Charlie there. We just heard him in the background. Charlie cover, Rams plus 1.5.
Yeah, well, as soon as Rams went up 37, I was like, oh, well, Charlie's definitely won here, because most is going to be as a 1-point Seahawks win, and so it was. But, shout out Chase Blackburn, the special teams coordinator for the Rams, or was the special teams coordinator on Thursday. He's no longer as of Monday, which tells you how much they did not receive his poor planning. Yeah, I just thought a wonderful game. I do kind of agree, though. There was a little concern on the Rams offense in that fourth quarter. It kind of felt like they took the game for granted and it was done. And Stafford just struggled to get going in the fourth quarter. I do agree, though. You can't worry about them going forward, because both these teams can just win any game, really. And I'm sure they'll keep doing that in the playoffs. So we shall see. Should we move on to our games in focus? And who's up first? Paul.
It is me. Jaguars 34, Broncos 20. Trevor lays down the law as Jags stun Broncos. Jags on a mile high after another terrific showing, ends Denver win streaks. Signature win for Lawrence and Cohen that shows they are contenders. If we just go back in your regular listen to the show, I was out on the Jaguars after sitting in Wembley Stadium for 3 hours watching them just be rancid against the Rams that we've just talked about. They couldn't be any further away from that team 7 or 8 weeks ago than with the performance here. And I know we give, rightly, and Trevor Lawrence has been scrutinized quite a lot. The football he's been playing in the last 4 or 5 weeks, especially, is absolutely incredible. And I know kind of the Broncos may have been due a loss because they've kind of sailed close to the wind a few times in terms of digging out games at the end. But I just felt the Jags dominated this game. Once they kind of got in front, they just took control of it and played extremely well on both sides of the ball as well. Defensively, I thought they were able to kind of start putting pressure on Bo Nix. And even when it got to 34-17 and the Jags didn't quite kill them off, I started feeling, I kind of think the Broncos are going to come back here. So much so that I bet the Broncos to come back, at the time. But the Jags just didn't let them have a sniff after that. They were really, really they just dominated the lines of scrimmage, and they were just thoroughly in control. Very impressive, arguably Trevor Lawrence's best day. I think some of the big time throws that he was making, just very, very impressive. And he just seems to just becoming more comfortable and confident in this Liam Cohen offense. And fair play. Like, I think the Jags, it's not just they're going to be in the playoffs, might pinch a win. I think they are contenders in the AFC off the back of this. They were really, really impressive. And shout out to them. And we'll see if they can keep pushing on. Denver, on the flip side, maybe they were just due one of these. Again, not too worried about them. I think they'll kind of get back at it, but they were just due one of these. You can't keep putting yourself in those holes. There were 11 straight wins ended and 12 straight wins at home as well. That run stopped by the Jaguars as well. So, thoroughly impressive. And just shout out, again, we talk about the players in the misery. Parker Washington, he just seems to Yeah, he really is, but also just making big plays time after time. And Jacoby Myers has been really good once he got settled after the trade. But Parker Washington, he's been incredible. It's like they really haven't missed, obviously, Travis Hunter since he's been injured. You forget that was his last appearance at Wembley, 7 or 8 weeks ago. Parker Washington's been incredible. So, yeah, shout out the 11-4 Jags.
Absolutely. The small town Jags going into the big market Denver Broncos, as Liam Cohen called out Sean Payton's maybe little smug comments earlier in the week. Liam Cohen does not back down for any fighters we've seen repeatedly this season. I am enjoying currently cashed my over 10.5 wins for the Jags. It was a preseason bet yesterday. And I'm looking at my Jags to win the AFC at 45-1 very handsomely right now as well. So fingers crossed we keep rolling with the Jags. Joe, did you see much of this game? Anything to add?
Yeah, I think what was most impressive was the red zone offense. Broncos defense is best stopping offense. And I think they went 4 for 4 to begin the game. And then the next one, it was a field goal. So I think that was the most impressive, that just what they're scheming up. And I did say, okay, Jags, show me what you can do. And they showed me. I think with the AFC, I don't see the Jags as like the Rams or the Seahawks, where it just looks like a complete team. I think they've still got games where something can go wrong. And right now, everything's just firing, all three phases of the game. But in that AFC, just how mixed up it is, and there isn't like a clear number one team. I wouldn't be surprised if it's the AFC Championship and fighting to get to the Super Bowl, just because they're just right now everything's clicking. And when you can go into Denver and do that with how loud it was as well, and Trevor Lawrence got absolutely cream crackered when they blew the whistle, and he got up and he threw a great ball. So and you got to give him credit for that. When that happened, I thought, oh, is this that Trevor going out there, because it looked a nasty one. But fair play to him and the Jags as a whole. They've certainly done well, and just makes it more interesting, the AFC South going forward.
Absolutely, yeah. What is our second game? I'm not in charge of the buttons here. It's me. Hello. Patriots 28, Ravens 24. Sunday Night Football is a good one as well. Only one man can stop Derrick Henry, and that man is his head coach, John Harbaugh. Patriots come back from 11 down in the fourth quarter after Ravens lose Lamar and decide to pull King Henry. May makes it look easy late. Drake May, I thought, was spectacular yesterday. He moves so well in the pocket. He just keeps the ball going downfield. There was a play that somehow wasn't called for either DPI or tripping. Kyle Von Noy stuck his leg out to try and trip Drake May, which propelled him forward into a bomb downfield for Kayshon Boutte. And Marlon Humphrey decided to tackle him 5 yards before the ball got anywhere near them, and wasn't called for any penalties. It was one of the more peculiar non-calls I've seen in a long time. May went 31 of 34, 380 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception in there as well. But I just thought the way he navigates the pocket he doesn't look like a second-year quarterback at all. He looks like a veteran. They lost Trevion Henderson early in this game, but between May and Steph Diggs especially, Diggs goes for 138 on 9 receptions. Just a real strong game. But Baltimore need to be asking themselves questions. Derrick Henry put the Ravens 24-13 up with 12:50 to go and didn't touch the ball again. They had 2 possessions after that. Inexcusable. And John Harbaugh now has lost for the 20th time in the regular season and playoffs after leaving by double digits in the second half. More than any other coach since 91. 8 of those have been in the last 4 seasons. We've talked about this a lot already this year. It's just something they just can't allow. I understand when you have Tyler Huntley in there, you're maybe going to be a bit more conservative, but that's when you definitely need to lean on King Henry. We all love Keaton Mitchell. He's very fun. He's very fast. He's great for making these breakaway plays. He has as many 20-mile-an-hour runs as like anyone else in the last 6 weeks on a fifth of the carries. But in this scenario, you need your big dog. That's what he's there for. That's what you're paying him for. Derrick Henry gets better as it gets colder and as the games go on. And it just feels like the Ravens, once again, just got in their own head and pulled themselves out of winning contention.
I don't know if you heard, there was like something weird where Mitchell went in when Henry should have gone in, and there was some like confusion in that sense in how it is. But just talking about your stat about the Ravens, so since 2021, they've lost 12 games while leading by 7+ points in the fourth quarter, which is the most in an NFL history in a 5-year span. And the second place is on 8, so they've lost 4 more games. And it feels like a typical Raven loss where they just cruising, just winning it, comfortably. You think, okay, moving to next year, and they just absolutely capitulate. Even with Lamar going out, you can use that excuse, but I thought they did pretty well without him, and I think it's that defense letting him down as well. And we're getting Derrick Henry seems to be fumbling a lot more this last year, and the typical Zay Flowers when it means the most. Just I think I said it last week when he fought. I think every single week I'm like, oh, never Zay Flowers fumble, but when it matters the most, and he does it again, and Drake may put it out. And which I think I heard a stat was his first 300 yard passing game as well, which is a big crazy. I thought he would have got a lot more, but. Yeah, I'm ready. I've been hoping for the Ravens to turn it around and to be that kind of team where we expect them to be. But I'm just happy for them to be gone now because it's just playing boot. It's not great. And now there's rumors where John Harbaugh could be losing his head coaching job, which I don't think we would have expected that at the start of the year.
He seems to kind of step away from kind of any real responsibility about why Derrick Henry didn't really go in the game. It was kind of just a bizarre quote he had after. But yeah, I think maybe that's just the Ravens just need a change. It's not that John Harbaugh is a bad football coach. I think maybe they just need a change, and both parties need a change potentially. But the Drake May one as well. First 300+ yard passing game, first fourth quarter comeback. I feel like they needed something like this, the Patriots.
Yeah.
In terms of just that bit of adversity, because they had you mentioned the interception, the fumble. They went for it on a fake punt that got blown up by the Ravens. Like, they gave the Ravens plenty of opportunity to close this game out, and they didn't. But yeah, I felt they needed this a little bit because they've had kind of just very, very clean wins. Like, they've not had to kind of fight and scrap to kind of come from behind. So that probably bodes well heading to the playoffs. And shout out Sky from the preview. He predicted 27-24 Patriots win. So, it's pretty close.
Yeah, pretty much bang on, yeah. I have nothing else on this game. Anyone else?
No, good.
Joe, what is your spotlight and takeaway?
Bucks can't pay the ransom note. Redemption for Bucky Ransom, whose fourth quarter interception gives Panthers huge win in the race for the NFC South title. Is Mayfield and the Buccaneers overbaked? Again, this is another game where Baker throws a fourth quarter interception to cost them the game. It looks like him and Evans weren't on this right page. Evans went inside, Baker threw it outside, and an easy pick for Ransom. And it's just, again, another team, Buccaneers. I'm a bit like, you know what? I want the Panthers to get in because I think it's a fun story. The Bucs, I've been waiting for them to just, they've got all the players back, especially on offense, and you just expect them to, move forward, dominate this division. It's a bad division. They should be winning this easily just with some of the players they've got. But just overall, it feels like it's just something's wrong with the big plays that they're allowing. Just keeping these tight games, they haven't. Their point differential must be shocking. But yeah, 7-8 Panthers win this great game. I thought Bryce Young does what Bryce Young does. He extended a few plays, especially that touchdown. He managed to get out of where it looked like he was going to be a sack and throw a good touchdown to Sanders. Ted McMillan, offensive rookie of the year. I think it's looking likely just with and when we talk about it was him versus Egbuka, and it feels like since Gronkowski butchered his name, he's butchered his chances for the rookie of the year because he certainly dropped off. Even though he had two good catches, which felt big in this game. It's just, again, it's another game where the Bucs should be winning these kind of games if we want to take them seriously. They've still got a chance. I think the Panthers have got the Seahawks next against the Bucs again. So it depends how the Bucs perform next week. I think they've got Miami. So again, you expect them to win, but they've lost 6 out of 7, 7 out of 9, and the only team they beat is a bad Cardinal. So can't really trust them to beat the Dolphins either. So yeah, just overall disappointing from the Bucs. Congrats to the Panthers, and they're some of the team I'm rooting for to get into the playoffs. Just because it's a fun story, and yeah, the Bucs have just not produced what was expected.
Yeah, just on that you mentioned kind of that Baker interception. They've not been on the same page. If Ransom doesn't catch that throw was that bad that might have got called for intentional grounding. It was that bad. Just polar opposite from where he was that first month of the season.
Yeah. Yeah, I used to be calling him Make a Playfield. That has long since died. Season just seems to get longer and longer for Baker. And yeah, I think the Bucs look like they could just do with the season ending because either way, they're not going to win a playoff game. They might sneak into the playoffs, but I don't really see it at this point. They'd kind of be surprised if they won a game, like you're saying, Joe. You wouldn't pick.
Well, I guess it's going to go down to that game, innit? Like, can the Bucks win it 8 and 9?
I can, but
like, would they have the tiebreaker if they both?
I have no idea what's the standing right now. Because obviously there'll be
I feel like that NFC South has been that bad that an 8 and 9 winner feels just. That feels right, I think, for kind of how it's been. I
kind of want them to just tie the last week.
I think the Panthers might still get in just on conference.
Okay, cool. So
it's going to be awkward because the division will be the same. I think the conference will be the same, and obviously their record against each other is the same. So it'll be very
like a strength of schedule thing, maybe.
Yeah, or who they played against.
Or common opponents. Yeah,
that kind of weird stuff. So.
Cool, so I don't know. It's 8 and 9 NFC South. Yeah, that'd be great.
And what's crazy, it feels like the Saints are the best team in this division, and they're
right now.
Yeah, who would have been more fun in the playoffs? But yeah, just thought I'd highlight this one because it felt like the one with the biggest stakes. But yeah, it made sense, and we'll see where it is on week 18. But
please don't let it be a Sunday night football game. Don't want to finish the season on that.
Feels like it's going to be though, doesn't it? Grant, so that's our spotlight takeaways. We're going to move on to overreactions in week 16. What's the big overreaction here, Paul?
Oh, the Bears. I'm in love with the Chicago Bears. That's my overreaction. Caleb Cole's game as Bears blast back against the Pack. OT dime seals comeback win after onside kick recovery. Leads the bonus football. Bears land dagger and announce themselves as NFC players. 22-16 to the Bears. This game was awful. Let's just kind of be frank about it. For 55 minutes, 57 minutes, the game was woeful. And I say that somebody who bet the over. The game was woeful. Just red zone turnovers. Jordan Love getting knocked out of the game. By the way, shout out Matt LaFleur again. Does it again with Malik Willis in terms of he put them in a position to win with Malik Willis again. So he's such a good coach. Might wish probably at times that he just starts Malik Willis. I don't know. But yeah, Jordan Love's going out with a concussion. But yeah, the Packers kind of blew it a bit, but the Bears came alive to kind of make it happen, and a few kind of sliding doors moments in this game in terms of that kind of led to the onside kick recovery in terms of they kick the field. Cairo Santos kicks the field goal. Shout out to him kicking the field goals in the wind, like he was where he was having to set them and banana bending them in, and it was just wild and windy. But the fact he kicked the field goal just the wrong side of the 2-minute warning meant they went for the onside kick rather than kicking it, because they might have not got the ball, they might not touch the ball again if they obviously kick it to the Packers. But the onside kick, Romeo Dobbs must be kicking himself, just kind of backing off and not throwing himself at it, and could have iced the game for the Packers. But just phenomenal stuff. And that, like we saw Caleb to DJ Moore last week in the Browns game, that kind of frozen rope, fireball that he threw. I don't know if this one's arguably better, but just kind of, for Caleb, maybe exercising a bit of a demon from the game the previous week. He threw the shot in the end zone that got intercepted by Nixon. Nixon was the player covering DJ Moore again, and this time it was perfect for DJ Moore to come down and just kind of land with exhaustion in the end zone in overtime for the walk-off win. But Soldier Field, like again, sounded incredible. Just talked about how Seattle was. The Bears are the real deal again. It's maybe similar to the Broncos in terms of just finding ways to win games. A little bit, they've been doing it in all different kind of ways. But this Bears team is so dangerous, I think. Caleb's playing with just more and more confidence each and every week. Feels like him and Ben Johnson are on kind of the same page. They can run the ball, they can run it down your throat. They're real physical, and the defense is incredibly opportunistic. I love the Bears. I can't think they're 11-4, gonna win the NFC North. It'd be crazy if they didn't win the NFC North from here, right? Gonna win the NFC North and host a playoff game in Chicago. It is, incredible stuff. Shout out to the job Ben Johnson's done. Possibly coach of the year, him and Liam Cohen, I guess. But yeah, just what a Vrabel as well. Yeah, what a finale, I think. 55 minutes, 57 minutes, this game sucked. It was a great ending.
And I think it was crazy that, like I said, that Dobbs onside kick. Like if he just caught that, it's completely flipped what the outcome of this game is. It'll be the Bears can't win big games. They can't beat the Packers. Matt LaFleur does it without his quarterback. He's best player, especially on defense. Two offensive linemen and a few others, and yeah, it just feels like very Packer-esque to concede that kind of thing. He's similar to the Seattle playoff quite a few years ago. You just got to get that onside, and wonder where the Bears would have been if that didn't come off. But they managed to turn it around and put themselves in such a good position. And like you said, it's I don't see them in the same level as the Rams and Seahawks, but I think I wouldn't be surprised if they beat them. They'll certainly give them a good game. And now they're in the playoffs. The Packers, it's looking they would have to lose 2 games and the Lions to win both their games, but it's definitely not certain for the Packers with all their injuries. But fair play.
Yeah, that Packers game could be Malik Willis against Tyler Huntley on Saturday. And you've got both desperate to try and hang on and get a win to take it to week 18.
Malik Willis is injured. He's got a shoulder injury, so it might not even be Malik Willis. I forget
who's
who
number
the
3.
I seen it earlier and I can't recall. Let's hope it's Malik Willis.
We'll find out anyway. But I suppose John Love has got a full week to get out concussion protocol. It's a Saturday to Saturday. Obviously, you prefer the Sunday to get an extra day, but the Packers play Saturday next week. But at least it's a full week. It's not even short a week with it being Christmas and stuff. But we'll see. Obviously, they need him as much as Malik Willis has done a good job. They obviously do need Jordan Love. Just really impressed by the coaches. I'm impressed by Ben Johnson. And again, Matt LaFleur, even in a losing effort, incredible. He always does an incredible job. So,
And I kind of agree. I think he'd almost prefer to have Malik Willis and Jordan Love because it simplifies things. It's just going to be a run game. Well, that's what we're going to do. We're going to run. It's so funny. Yeah, he often seems hindered by Jordan Love wanting to throw the ball.
And to Malik Willis, I think Malik Willis was 9 for 11, 121 and a touchdown. He did,
and he is
well with the ball in his hands.
Upcoming free agent as well, which we'll get to after the Super Bowl. But an interesting name to wonder about.
Cal, you're doing previews of episodes we've got coming up in 3 months' time.
Never resting here at Good Teams.
Like and subscribe.
Cool. Second overreaction, I think, might be me.
Love
not such a big game. Vikings 16, Giants 13. And I just kind of wanted to basically expand on a take I had from last week. And it's a take I've been thinking about for a while. Dart missing the bullseye, just hitting the board. New York Giants head into the loser bowl with number 1 pick. They play the Raiders next week. With a new head coach incoming, the Giants shouldn't feel tied to Dart. I feel like I'm being gaslit a little bit with how great I keep hearing Jackson Dart is. And I just don't see it. I think he's a fun player to watch. I think he's a great fantasy option. But like your Justin Fields, your Tim Tebows of years gone by, that doesn't mean he's going to be a great NFL quarterback. And I honestly do feel like I'm getting gaslit about it because all I keep seeing is quarterback 8 in points per game in fantasy. It's it doesn't really matter to me, and it definitely shouldn't matter to the New York Giants. I do feel a bit for him because he doesn't have a perfect surrounding cast to shine with, and I think what he's done with the cast is absolutely fine. It's laudable. But if they get the number 1 pick, or if there's 2 quarterbacks they think are worthy and they have the number 2 pick, I just don't think they should be pot committed to a quarterback who went in the 20s just a year ago and has been okay. And let's be kind of a little brutal here. He's waiting to concuss himself out of the league. He plays very recklessly, and I don't think you can take that away from him without losing what makes him a good player in the first place. So if Dante Moore or Mendoza are above-level quarterbacks who can be actual franchise quarterbacks, I just don't think the Giants should write that off because they've got a quarterback who's been okay as a rookie. That's kind of my entire overreaction here. I mean, if the Vikings had the number 1 or 2 pick, I'd be saying the same about JJ McCarthy, who's shown moments as well. Not as much as Jackson Dart, I will admit, but just because you've got a young quarterback on your roster who cost you a first-round pick 2 years ago, don't rule yourself out of getting another one. Don't be scared of getting better just because you might upset somebody.
Yeah, I'm guessing the biggest issue with these 2 quarterbacks as well is staying on the field. Both have been getting injured. Like McCarthy's his 4th injury this year. I think this was the first one actually on the field, and we know about Jackson Dart and his concussions, and and everything around that. But yeah, I think I sent the message in the group like, do you remember like 6 weeks ago when everyone was absolutely going nuts on this Giants that they could make a playoff run and whatnot? Now they're sat here 2-13 and not quite sure where they're going. I'm guessing obviously not having your head coach, getting rid of Dable, who was offensive minded, and that not quite clearly not working with the interim coach. So I'll be interested to see who they get in. And I think Kevin Stefanski, I'm still calling that, is the Giants head coach next year, just to work with Jackson. I'll be surprised if they go away from him. I get what you're saying, but the QBs coming in, are they going to be that much better than that? I'm not quite sure.
Yeah,
it's better to just build around him and get maybe, because Andrew Thomas is a good left tackle, but he can't stay on the field. You've got such a good point, supposedly a good defensive line who's not been amazing. Abdul Carter had a good game, but lining up offside when your team scores an interception touchdown is not great. I'm not quite sure where to go from there because you've already got your number one wide receiver. I'm guessing just keep building around him.
Just a quick one on that. Baron, I completely agree with your takeout. So I agree. I don't think the Giants should just commit themselves. I think also it hinders them in their head coaching search, I think, a little bit as well, because you've got to get somebody who's willing to roll with Jackson Dart, because that's the decision ultimately that they have made, I think. So it's probably, again, Jackson Dart, he must have been looking over his shoulder at the moment Brian Daboll got fired, because that's the guy that's got, that's the guy that wanted me, that's the guy that brought me in. Obviously, they made the move, made the trade to come up and go get him. So not having potentially the head coach and surely the GM, surely he's got to go. Surely, have I missed it? He's not gone already, has he?
No, not yet.
He's got to go, surely, yeah. So the two people that made the move to bring me here are gone. So, yeah, I just think they've got so many other holes as well. And I just wanted to mention, Drew, you just mentioned by name Abdul Carter there. Has there been a big disappointment from the top third of the draft or top half of the draft so far? Like, the expectation coming out, I just saw your comment, Daniel Jones might be available. The expectation coming in that Carter was going to be like an instant game wrecker and going on to a defensive line as well, where there's already a couple of them. It should be real easy for him to transition, and we'll see him pop up everywhere. He's been woeful for the number 3 pick. I'm sure he'll turn out great, but I was expecting him to hit the ground running, as was everybody else by the looks of it. And I think he's just been poor, really.
And the question is he going to be, one of the, something like Will Anderson? Is he going to turn into that kind of player, or is he going to be like a Clowney where he's good, but just not great? And I think that's the biggest disappointment. And it feels like he's rubbed some of the fans or some of the ex-players the wrong way as well, just with some things going on. So it's, just having 3.5 sacks in his first year is not amazing.
I dare say, never mind Jadeveon Clowney, what about closer to home? Kayvon Thibodeau was number 4?
Yeah, 5, I think, maybe 5 Thibodeau.
Yeah, and before his rookie contract's up, we're saying maybe they're swapping for a mid-round pick because he's not making any impact. And Abdul Carter, I totally agree. He's been anonymous basically the entire season. We all thought like this is the number 1 or number 2 player. Him and Travis Hunter are the 2 best players in the draft, not a question. And I mean, Travis Hunter's got hurt. He's had an up and down rookie season, but he got hurt as he was ascending. Abdul Carter's just been such a non-factor. Their line is so weird. You look at the names on it and you think, how do they not dominate games? And week in, week out, you just go, well, they're just not. Like,
Thibodeau,
I don't know who's to blame exactly.
Sexy Dexy, Carter,
Brian Burns.
Yeah,
Burns had a good season. Lawrence had a good season individually, but it doesn't transfer to being a dominant defense in any way. But I do think we spent way too long on the New York Giants here. 5 minutes on the New York Giants. We're now getting onto the D-line. Let's can it there. Joe, you've got an overreaction for us.
Yeah, Paul was actually right in week 1. The Lions, well, he said Lions might suck. The Lions might not be good. The Lions, in a must-win game for the Lions, it ends in disaster. It's another good performance from Rodgers, puts Lions on the brink of elimination. On the Pittsburgh side, Tomlin does it again. Another winning season. Who would have seen that coming maybe 4 or 5 weeks ago? I think probably this weekly overreaction, we probably buried them a number of times. But, Rodgers has stepped up, and what the Steelers have managed to do is peak at the right time. I still think they're such an inconsistent team. But, when they're beating teams like the Lions away from home, they're clearly the best team in the AFC North. And I'm curious how it goes forward. It feels like they've just changed their team from Aaron Rodgers not being able to throw more than 20 yards to being able to do that. Kenneth Gainwell with maybe one of the best catches or crazy catches you see where he was like on the floor, hit his arm, man, no one touched him, and he runs in, and it just feels this like Lions team is what was working the previous years is not working this year. The interior line is, it was a big concern coming in. They just can't run the ball. I think Gibbs only got like a couple of yards, if that, and he's your main man. David Montgomery only got 14 yards. Yeah, Gibbs got 2 yards, so 15 yards total. And when you think of the Lions coming into this year, you were like, great running team. That's what they need to lean on. That went away. The Steelers a few weeks back, you were like, oh, they can't stop anyone, especially when they played the Bills and James Cook went all over them. I think helps getting Derek Harmon back. I think, talk about rookie defensive lineman. He's been great when he's been playing. And, the Steelers just do what they need to do. And,
did this without TJ Watt and Herbig again?
Yeah, exactly.
Herbig was out as well and still managed to kind of have that dominate the line of scrimmage.
From a defense and the Lions just feel like a bit soft, and that you don't expect that from this Lions team. When Jalen Warren's cruising, getting 40+ yard running touchdowns back to back in the fourth quarter. It's not a Lions you expect. They're not hitting the fourth downs. Obviously, there was a crazy play at the end where it was offensive pass interference, and then he passes it back to Goff and he scores a touchdown. And the officiating, I think everyone's talked about how the order he put that in didn't quite work, especially when the crowd's cheering it's a touchdown, but it's not a touchdown.
It was incredible way to explain that. Like the moment you just saw it all written on the I can't remember who it was. I've got the ref's name. I can't remember who it was. Was it Carl Shaves? I can't remember who it was. But when he first got the ruling on the field is a touchdown, and obviously the forward field goes wild, and then he just realizes, it was hilarious. And the fact that that was like the Premier League VAR. Like, took like a full 3 minutes to, come to the decision of what happened. But ultimately, it was the right call. So Simon Ryan just shoved that defender at the goal line. So
yeah, and it's just things like that, and it feels like the Lions. I think they would need the Packers to lose twice and them to win twice in order to make the playoffs. But it's just been a disappointing year from obviously the injuries and some of the changes they've had. It's just not been good enough when you came into this game expecting them to win. Like I said, just giving up big plays, and we haven't even talked about probably the thing coming out of the game is Metcalf, which it seems a bit like I've also seen another video where it doesn't quite seem like he's punched him. It sounds like he more like shoved him out the way. There's a fan's video, and there's kind of a history between the two, and the fan saying
beef with the guy.
So apparently he was in Seattle and they had like something happening. Apparently, like when he was there, DK tried to get him kicked out. Like he told them some people in the ground, and apparently there's two stories. The fans saying he was just calling DK Metcalf his full name, and that's what annoyed DK. But on the opposite side, DK said he said something which he shouldn't say. So we're seeing. I think you posted that. Apparently, he's got 2 game suspension.
2 game suspension,
which he is appealing, and I'm guessing this might come from because Lamar Jackson more or less did the same, and he only got fined. So I wonder if there'll be maybe it might get reduced just to 1 game, just to be like, well, you didn't do.
Because someone grabbed Lamar though, right? Or
someone grabbed someone before. Grabbed Hopkins, but still, he still punched him. So
but I
nearly got fined.
You have to really kind of get involved there, but it was wild. Look, I think they only need 1, right? Oh well, they don't need 1 if obviously the Ravens lose back to back. It's done. And they only went and they play the Ravens week 18. So I think it's pretty much done, and they do it again. Mike Tomlin. We all doubt him again every time. I say we doubt him. I said they make the playoffs, but we doubt him. I said I just checked my season bets. I was like, Steelers to make the playoffs. And he's done it. 9 wins, 19 years in a row.
And the Steelers have got Browns the next week, so they only need to beat the Browns, and they've won the division.
It might be one before the Ravens play Saturday night against Packers. So obviously, if Packers beat them, it's done. So incredible stuff. And just a wild game. I was really impressed with them. Actually, I thought they played really, really well. Full stop. And I know the overreaction is about the Lions, but I was really, really impressed with the Steelers. I think it's probably their best performance of the season in terms of they kind of put 4 quarters together, look good, both sides of the ball. Rodgers is getting it rolling. I think he's hitting kind of form at the right time. And I know we want to talk about it. That's a man that knows how to navigate the playoffs. That's a man who knows how to win big games and win come January. So I don't think they can go all the way, but I think they can win a game, which is vast improvement for it. It's been the last 6 or 7 playoff appearances.
He knows how to lose a heartbreaking playoff game as well, which
he does. That's true. Yeah. Only the NFC Championship, right?
Well, exactly. Yeah, and when you look at this, the Lions only had the ball for 51 seconds in the third quarter, and it's just that kind of game. And you got called out. Well, didn't get called out. That might be a bit far about you taking week 1 pause. So I thought I'd back you up that you were right.
It's the same things, and you've covered them. It's the interior. It's the same things that I called out in week 1 that caused them the problem. It's that the offensive line. They just cannot run the same offense or similar style offense with that offensive line. Just doesn't dominate. I think the rebuild is harsh given the plays they've got. I think that offensive line needs a lot of work, and then also you encounter some problems. You paid a lot of these guys about how you achieve that and keep it balanced. So I feel like the window's gone for him, and I've said this a few times. I kind of feel like the window's gone, and the fourth down stuff. As much as we all praise MCDC and we love him, it's changed. Problem is, it's regressing to there was such an outlier on the fourth downs. You just do it so often now because they do it so often. It's just like another play. So teams have what do they do on fourth downs? Well, we've got the 200 times they go for it on fourth down to see now. So it's much easier to defend than it once was because it's not a shock what they do. Like there's tendencies, there's how you play against it, and because they're a team that does it more than most, there's more examples of it. And I think maybe you just need to change what you're doing, which is tough because you don't want to betray who you are, but you also need to adapt or you die.
And we've also just talked about how their former head coordinator is going to be coach of the year.
Exactly, yeah.
Success is hard to maintain for reasons like that.
That happened to Philly, didn't it, when they lost both?
Steichen and Gannon.
Yeah, Steichen and Gannon, and they just kind of hit a wall, didn't they? So, yeah, same thing seems to have happened to the Lions.
Yep. And that moves us along to our fourfold draft. No winners this week, unfortunately, but a lot of close calls. Joe, you started off. You're 37-27, leading the way as you've been for probably half the season now, truthfully. You went over 48, Patriots, Ravens, which obviously covered. And then again, we haven't talked about Jets at Saints. You had the Saints -4.5 and no problems at all with that one.
Yeah, it was a bit nerve-wracking at the beginning. I think it was like 9-6 for a while, and it just felt like the Saints were giving it away. They were giving it to Taysom Hill for how many times fumbling the ball. And you're just like, oh, God, is this going to be one of them games where it's just like, oh, the Jets just get another win? But no, another great performance. It was 9-6 at halftime, and then they managed to get a touchdown just at the end of the third quarter, and then they're fairly comfortable because the Jets went fumble, interception, downs, and end game. So, And so, but yeah, we talked about the Saints, probably the best team in the NFC South now. Tyler Shook is showing promise, and they're a team you can go. We'll see what next year you do about the sophomore slump with kind of quarterbacks. But he's shown that he's going to be their starter. They're 5-10 now. They'll probably be around 10th, mid, probably where they've been the last few years. So at least they don't have to get that quarterback, and they can start building around because we talked about coming into the season. They've actually got a good young offensive line. They put a lot of stock into that, and they need to keep building around that and maybe get some more weapons and improve that defense. But this team could be one of them where, similar to what the Panthers have done, maybe what the Bears have done, and we sat here being like, oh, the Saints are battling for the division, and they managed to turn it around because the head coach is certainly shown why he got hired and he was well respected around the league.
I will be placing a very early future on Saints to win the NFC South when those markets come out next year. I just think they could conceivably end with 5 wins in a row to finish the season. I think they've got they've got the Falcons and they've got the Dolphins to play over the next 2 weeks. But our now regular How Awesome Was Charlie Smith segment this week, 5 out of 6 from Charlie, set a Saints record. 5 field goals, most made field goals in the game for the New Orleans Saints. So in a month, in 4 weeks, he had his debut that included an incredible onside kick recovery. has been signed permanently to the 53-man roster, which we didn't talk about because that happened Friday. So he's actually been signed officially now to the 53-man roster, which was cool. Hit a game winner, walk-off almost game winner, and also now holds the Saints record for most field goals made in a game. Pretty good month for the man from Mailbridge.
Not bad at all. And you did mention him, Joe, so I just want to give a shout out. Taysom Hill is the only player in the Super Bowl era to have 1,000 yards passing, rushing, and receiving. Only man alive. The other three who done it in the 50s have all passed away. Incredible career achievement. He won't be a Hall of Famer, but I think a Hall of... It needs his name noted somewhere in Canton, because what a career. Came out late, man of all trades, does it all, and, led the way a lot for the Saints yesterday in the win.
I'm going to miss awesome.
I have a Jets note as well I seen from Football Perspective on Twitter, who always has great Jets stuff. He's a Jets fan. Very, very knowledgeable football historian as well. The Jets are going to finish this season ranked in the bottom 10 on offense in scoring and the bottom 10 in yards for the 10th year in a row, which seems impossible to do in the modern era, but they have done it. And also over the last 10 seasons, the Jets have lost 36 games by 20 or more points. The second most is 27, the Panthers.
And another stat as well, the Jets have 0 interceptions this year. So
it's insane.
Yeah. They might be able to go 17 games with 0 interceptions. That create a record which will never get beaten. So
who have they got? Who have they got next? Who do the Jets play? They've got the Patriots next week.
Yeah, that could be a
Patriots and Bills.
Patriots and Bills. Oh, they could not get one.
Well, they might.
Mitchell basically comes in week 18, maybe.
Oh yeah, Mitch. Maybe. Yeah, I guess
they're hoping for seeing Mitch. Joe, you lost on the under 47 Jags Broncos. We've already talked about the game, but that's a tough one. Obviously, I think we all expected a more defensive matchup, but you could only slow down Trevor Lawrence so much. And your underdog hit Chargers at Cowboys. Chargers +2, and yeah, another one that wasn't really in any kind of doubt. 34-17. Much to take away from this game, or
move to the box help, didn't it, for Eberflus?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what you say at this point with him. It's just
so there were some cracking bits, and again, we won't talk about the Cowboys too much because they're answered and not. So just entering week 16, Justin Herbert was the most sacked. Oh, it still is, I guess. Was the most sacked quarterback in the NFL. 49 sacks through 15 games or 15 weeks, including 11 in the last 2 weeks. How many times did the Dallas Cowboys sack him yesterday?
Is it under 0.5?
It is under that. The under would have hit there, Byron. Yes, 0.5. Barely got any pressure on him, and it was good to see Jerry taking some accountability at the end. Though that was awesome. What do you make? Just 1 point. It's the only one thing I actually want to talk about. The Cowboys have now decided Tyler Guyton is not a left tackle. So they changed the offensive line, and Schottenheimer said if Guyton returns from injury, he ain't playing left tackle. I think it's a bit early to be doing that, and he's put Tyler Smith out there. Is this just a cheap way to get Tyler Smith on a guard contract and then play him left tackle, which is, I think, what they've done?
Well, it stinks of Jerry Jones. Any way to save a buck? Yeah, I don't really know, truthfully. Like I said, it's early to write someone off at that position. We'll see what training camp brings. I think is kind of the answer to the Cowboys' everything. Or we'll see what the draft brings as well, obviously. But training camp for Guyton.
Yeah, we don't have to talk about Cowboys. Chargers only one game behind the Broncos as well, and still got to play each other.
Yeah, interesting one. Yeah,
I've been impressed with the Chargers the last few weeks. It felt like they were going to go maybe stall a little bit, but like the last 2 weeks, especially on offense,
this is when they get you.
Yeah, it feels like they've turned it around. I think the left tackle who's been better than a lot of left tackles has got injured again. So not great for the Chargers in that sense. And also, can Harbaugh just you've got a quarterback who's broke his hand. Maybe when you're winning by quite a bit, don't sneak him up constantly when he's like hurt. We know how tough Justin Herbert is. You don't need to keep proving it. It's just like, if the Cowboys have got Joe Milton in, maybe put Trey Lance in against his former team. And maybe save him instead of just running Herbert down the middle and that kind of stuff. But fair play to the Chargers. I think the last few weeks of defense and offense is showing up, and again another exciting team for the playoffs. You never know where it's going to go in the AFC.
That's the game that can save us from NFC South being Sunday Night Football. Chargers, Broncos, Week 18 for the division.
I'll fight down the Seahawks.
I'll find out Seahawks. Cool. Yeah, one of those games. Oh, yeah, it's definitely going to be one of them. What we're worried about.
Fingers
That
crossed.
means we get like Bucks, Panthers on the Saturday night, which will be rancid. Anyway, go on.
So, yeah, Joe, you were 3-1. I am 2-1 and TBD. I have a Monday Night Football one going. My only loss, goodness me, the Chiefs at the Titans. I had over 37.5, ends 26-9, 37 points for those. Oh, no, 35 points. Never mind. Still frustrating. I thought it was 37. I'm not doing the maths properly. But one score, and I would have covered. Very frustrating. Gardner Minshew went out with an injury. So I don't really have much to say on this game, truthfully. Good to see the Titans get a win. But I'm not sure how much of anything you could take of it. Chris Olodokun was the Chiefs quarterback who I'd not heard of till he was in the game, and he was drafted in 2022. So that doesn't scream high potential, but we probably see him again because Gardner Minshew is out for the season.
ACL, just like Paddy.
No, not an ACL.
Right.
MRI came back today, just a very heavy bone bruise, thankfully. Yeah, so a bit of good news for Gardner Minshew there. Doesn't help the Chiefs long-term on this season. Let's re-sign him. Yeah, it doesn't help us. We're watching the
what are the
football,
matchups? So we've got Dak Prescott versus Josh Johnson, probably.
Yep.
Jared Goff versus Max Brosmer, highly likely. Yep. And then Bo Nix against Chris
Olodokun.
So
yeah, it's going to be a wild Christmas.
Prime, but Netflix, I think I've been messaging to you guys earlier. So Netflix is $150 million they've paid for the 3 years of the Christmas Day game. So $50 million for these two games that they're getting, which one's a dead rubber and the other one is barely got anything on it and does have Max Brosmer playing in it. Just great investment from Netflix.
And I think that's really all we need to say about the Chiefs Titans.
Well, I was just going to say there's just been some Chiefs have got their move to a new stadium. Which
moving states.
Mm-hmm.
From Missouri to Kansas. Damn it, it's probably like 2 miles where they're moving, but
yeah, I don't know how far it is, but I know they're pretty close anyway. So it makes more sense than being in Kansas. So I can't be too annoyed with it. I do remember there was a Donald Trump tweet when they won the Super Bowl a couple of years ago. It was like they've done the great state of Kansas proud. And like often with Donald Trump, never wrong, just early.
Why are they? This is now geography. We're delving into geography and specifically American geography. Why are there so many cities that are on like border, like state lines? Like St. Louis is the same, right? Just on the other side.
I believe so, and I don't know.
Missouri, like why? Redraw the lines. Anyway.
Redistricting is a touchy subject in America. We'll say that for the politics pod. Come in January 12th.
The bonus, in the days where we've got no games to talk about.
Yeah. My second one covered Bengals -4 against the Quinn Ewers-led Dolphins. Quinn Ewers doesn't look like an NFL quarterback. The Dolphins look like they're on the beach. They're in Cancun or Miami. Joe Burrow turned up, and therefore they were great. 300 yards, 4 touchdowns. Again, we're getting to that point in the season where I don't think if you have something you want to say about this game, interrupt me, but otherwise I'm just moving on. Wonderful. I've got the 49ers under 46.5 tonight, but it's already dead. And I had the Patriots +3 over the Ravens. We've already covered. Paul, you went 2-2. The Raiders at the Texans covered 14 points. Geno Smith lives. Anything to say on this game?
He looked good in parts, to be fair.
Yeah.
Wildness, obviously, for how bad they've been. And the Raiders' defense actually played pretty well as well. But ultimately, it's just about winning, isn't it, for the Texans? It doesn't really matter how you do it. It's just about winning. It wasn't pretty. And, shout out Geno. Ashton Genty as well. I thought he was real good. He had 188 scrimmage yards, 2 touchdowns. So, I thought he played really well. From that perspective for the Raiders, which was nice. I've had, obviously, a real rough go of it. But obviously, I was going into the slate, getting my first one in, which we'll talk with the game we've already talked about, Vikings Giants, thinking, this is the week. And as you already know, they were 13, 14-point favorites 2 weeks in a row. They covered the first week. Maybe I shouldn't have taken it the second week.
I don't think anyone can blame you, though, with this Raiders team. Perfect loss for the Raiders, I feel, though. Like, they got to show out. Ashton Genty looked like a early first-round pick. and they lost, so they get to stay in the race for number 1 pick.
I'm definitely doing biggest game of
yeah,
biggest game of the season next week.
It's a main game on the Week 17 preview, right? Yeah, it's definitely a featured game.
Yeah, maybe we'll see Kenny Pickett.
Yeah, maybe.
Can't have Geno risk in the future. You also fell short on your underdog, Paul. We thought the Cardinals would finally win a game. I think we all agreed on this one. I don't have to spread it.
I think Joe might have took the Falcons on the ATS, but yeah, I kind of thought they were due a win, and Falcons got their win last week, didn't they? So that's kind of where I was. But Bijan, obviously, I think was dominant performing. He had another 160, 170 yard from scrimmage game. Kirk Cousins relatively solid, but yeah, they just struggled passing because it's all on the pass really. And I suppose the secret was let Jacoby throw it 50 times, and they didn't. They didn't really get down enough to let him do it, and that might have been the issue. But they had a good rushing game, the Cardinals. But yeah, this is one where it's just petering out to an awful mess. I assume Gannon's gone. Kyler's gone. Gannon's gone. I think. Do
you think with these
big old reset? I think
these 2 Falcons win that he'll keep his job.
No,
Morris. No.
No, I mean, we just talked about those last 2 games. Carroll gone. Raheem Morris should go. We think Gannon's gone. Yeah.
D'Amico probably keeps his job, though. I think that's fair to say.
I mean, D'Amico's okay,
yeah. Grand, yeah, I have nothing else on this game other than frustration at Trey McBride finally looking human when it comes to fantasy championship week in our home league, which it is 2-legged, so we're not out of it yet, but... yeah, Trey McBride getting more than 2 points would have been really helpful.
Probably going to struggle breaking the Dallas Goddard's record, I think, as well. Dallas Goddard? Zach Ertz is record.
Zach Ertz, I know, yeah.
Get it wrong. Every time I say it, I get it wrong.
Yeah, 2 wins we've already talked about. Lions Steelers over 52 points.
Only just on that as well, by the way. I know we talked about the game, but like for a very long time, that didn't look like it was going to hit.
Yeah, I had Amon-Ra as my fantasy game day captain. Stack Lions in my DraftKings lineup, and
keeps in mind.
Certainly through the first half of that game, I'm just like, I am absolutely dead, and I remain dead. I just got more alive, but still dead. And your other one that hit under 43.5, Vikings, Giants, putrid offensive game. I didn't watch much of it. Internet issues here, but everything I've seen looked pretty putrid. Yeah,
didn't miss out.
Yeah, and we've already talked both quarterbacks. If they were replaceable with good quarterbacks in the upcoming draft, they should be. So. Again, don't think we need to dive in too much on this game. We talked 20 minutes on the Giants earlier. Our Platts pals, Shane and Sky. It looks like they went 3-1 each. I'm not 100% sure. I'll talk them through.
No, I've got the list. I'll give you a shot. I didn't really know how to call the screen.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
That's my bad. Yeah, because they had hit and missed on different ones. So Sky
they did both. They both covered the favorite. Eagles -6.5 covered at Washington. Saints covered at home against the Jets. Underdog. Dolphins did not hit, but the Chargers did, as we already talked about. Overs, do they both miss then? I'm guessing over 45.5 Bucks.
Yeah, just Shane's Monday night, so that's still pending. But yeah, Bucks Panthers. So yeah, the Bucks not tying or going on to win that game cost Sky hitting the 4-fold. So Sky went 3-1 because he had Falcons Cardinals under as well, and Shane's 1-2 and 1 pending Monday Night Football. So good effort from Sky. Obviously, yeah, still good effort from Shane, obviously as well. But yeah, Sky just missing it.
Next year, Shane and Sky, just let Sky do it. It's going to be my thing.
I think that is the lesson,
yeah. Says me.
I think Sky, I've not watched it, but I'm pretty sure Sky was on the big game night on Channel 5 as well. I didn't flip over to watch it because I had Bills Browns on. Don't know what he was doing there as a New England Patriots fan, but Bills Browns was the game that he showed, which is one of the games we haven't talked about.
Nice teams getting the good teams win. Great teams cover bump as well. Channel 5 obviously straight away. Respect.
Yeah, Dermot was on the phone.
Is that who presents it? Dermot O'Leary?
Dermot O'Leary, yeah. I thought you got that from that reference then.
Not many others. So yeah, 4-4. Joe leading the way 37-27. I am 4 behind with not many left. 8 left. 33-30.
I'm resigned to doing the forfeit. I'm fully resigned to doing it.
Just
now. Not like in week 6.
I was like,
Paul, 27.
I hit the 4. I was like, yeah, I'm in. I can catch Byron, but I can't. There's only 2 weeks left, and there's no chance.
27-35 and 2, and the guest 28-37 and 2. We're counting this week as this next week as well because it's a busy week with Christmas, so we probably won't get a guest in. So it'll all even out by the end of next week, those numbers. And what we're going to do is move on to our ATS. Let's see what games we haven't talked about yet. Rams, me and Paul hit on. We all hit on the Eagles. Oh, here we go. Nobody won on Green Bay. Nobody won on
Quick one just on the Eagles because we've not actually talked about it. So they sealed the NFC East with a win. They have a Jake Elliott problem. Dear God, he missed the kick. He missed the same kick. He just kept putting it in the same place every single time.
Yeah, he's got the dartitis, as it's the yips. He just doesn't seem to know how to put it anywhere else. And big problem. I did see a tweet the other day, Marcus Grant of NFL Network or NFL Fantasy. Are the Eagles 2008 American banking crisis because Washington is bailing them out? The Eagles were pretty poor, I felt, through the first half of the game, and Washington just absolutely let them off the hook. And then Mariota went out, and it was kind of game over, really. Josh Johnson is not a man who should be quarterbacking in the NFL at 45 years old or whatever he is. You're not Philip Rivers, Josh. So, yeah, not much to take away. I think Washington were very poor. Dan Quinn fighting for his job, I would dare guess.
I think so. It's got that bad, hasn't it?
Yeah, defense is going nowhere. There was a good old bit of a brouhaha as well. Eagles going for the 2-point conversion. Dan Quinn, we'll see them in 2 weeks. It doesn't really... That's like Jake Paul telling Anthony Joshua we'll see him in 2 weeks to me. Yeah, you can say it, mate, but it doesn't really mean much because they've just whooped you.
That fight was quite fun, and I don't know how Mikey Samuelstil got out of that without getting ejected because he was the only one who was actively continually throwing punches and somehow maybe he's so small, I don't know, trying to fight an offensive lineman, but he's the only one that didn't get ejected, and everybody else did who had far less scuffling.
Yeah, I was confused. Yeah, you said the fight was fun, only one person throwing punches. I was like, I didn't know you'd watch a fight. But yes, Buffalo Bills we haven't talked about. Did not cover as 10-point favorites. Did win the game though. 23-20, was it?
I think 23-20. They made hard work of it, didn't they? They really did.
Yeah, especially if Quinton Judkins goes out with I believe a broken leg. He's being ruled as. You'd rather that than an ACL, obviously, but not a pleasant way to end his season. Shadur Sanders, check down, I think was kind of the key for the game. Not much he can do. I think Jerry Jeudy let him down with a big drop early as well. And yeah, James Cook, most rushing yards in the league, which kind of surprised me because he doesn't get the hype of some of the bigger names, Jonathan Taylor especially. And James Cook just keeps doing it. Respect to him. Lovely. He's got such a great flow to watching him run. He's such a direct runner. But yeah, another 117 yards on the ground, 2 touchdowns. Just a huge form from James Cook. Gets it done for them.
Last interjection from me. Joe shouted out earlier, Ted McMillan, offensive rookie of the year. Probably he's heavily odds on.
Yeah.
I think it should be Harold Fanning. He leads all rookies in terms of catches. He's been consistently good all the way through he's 40-1. He's ahead of him. Ted McMillan, so he's 2-5. Tyler Shuck's 13-4, second favorite. Agbuka's out to 14s with Trayvon Henderson. Jackson Dart, 25s. Genty, 28. And Harold Fanning, 40-1.
I agree. It should be shorter. I mean, honestly, I think it's been one of them years where,
it's not been like a standout. It was Agbuka who won it, and then he just tailed off so much and getting injured. But I think it should be Harold. He's been so good for the Browns. I think it's tough when you're on it.
You look at some of the losers of the last few years, and they would have wiped the floor this year.
Yeah.
Well,
I also think it's interesting
that if he wins that, and then Carson Schlesinger wins the Defensive Rookie Player of the Year, and then Myles Garrett wins the Defensive
Player of the Year. Mason Graham, by the way, I know he ended up getting half a sack for it. In that situation, you've just got to stay away from Josh Allen if you're Mason Graham, haven't you? I know you're a rookie.
I don't blame
But Myles Garrett's right there. That's the record.
Nah, you make the play.
Yeah, he's right there.
I do love, Joe, that we kind of went to interrupt each other there, and I'll let you go ahead. And you said exactly what I was going to say. The Browns are going to be, 3 and the number 14.
14.
And they're going to have potentially 2 award winners. And Harold Fanning has shone out, even if he doesn't win the award.
And Judkins.
An interesting season.
Yeah, they've actually had a decent draft. Just everything else is terrible. But yeah, Miles Garrett again, half a sack. I feel like they gave that to him just because they were like, oh, why not? So he only needs one to beat it now. Got Pittsburgh next week. It feels very set up for that. If he doesn't get it, it'll be so disappointing.
I know. I think he's going to get it.
Get one. Yeah.
Be good to get it on Rodgers as well to be the record one.
And also the 16th game as well, so there can't be any of
yes
well,
to do it in that. Yeah.
I would kind of enjoy if Rodgers just lies down for one, like Brett Favre did. That would make me laugh.
Assuming obviously the Browns are going to win all these awards, should Kevin Stefanski therefore get Coach of the Year?
Well, maybe the opposite. If he's got all these great players that can't win games, maybe Andrew Berry should get Executive of the Year, and Kevin Stefanski should get the Giants job. The ultimate insult. Right? Okay, I think that's we're catching up to New York Giants amount of time on the Cleveland Browns here. Me and Paul, the Chargers, we know how bad the Cowboys are. Just you on the Titans, Paul. Great shout, knowing that it was Gardner.
Obviously, it helped. I felt they were going to cover. Like, I didn't necessarily think they were going to win by fucking 15 or whatever they won by.
Well, I think Minshew was much better at quarterback, so
he barely had a chance. Then I'm sure. I mean, if Minshew stays in, you'd hit your over Byron. So
I think so. Yeah, my Scott Fishbowl quarterback as well. Unsurprisingly, I didn't make the finals. Got to the semis, but didn't make the final.
Good run.
Cheers, mate. Yeah, just too many injuries. Push on the Vikings. We all took the Saints. Me and Paul on the Panthers. Joe, you must have had a bad week. I don't think I've said your name, barely.
5-9.
All on the Bengals. Me and Joe on the fighting Jaguars. Just Joe, there we go, on the Falcons. We all fell on the Lions. We all fell on the Texans. Just me on the Patriots, which surprised me. And we're all on the Niners tonight. Sorry, Joe, that does not bode well. Philip Rivers, the big fat man on Christmas week, is going to be delivering early in Indy.
I'm also on the -6 as well, Joe. So even worse for you, I think.
And I think we just have one thing left to do. We have to go and look at Fantasy Game Day. I know I didn't cash, I know Joe didn't cash, I know Paul didn't cash, but what I do know is that our man, Peach532197, cashed 177.74 points. Pretty low scoring one, but it was a very weird fantasy week this week. Basically, Nell, your captain, you probably did pretty well, and he certainly did. Bijan Robinson as the captain, Bryce Young at QB, Bucky Irving, Kenneth Gainwell, Ted McMillan, Chris Olave, 36.8 points, Huawei, Michael Carter, Darren Waller sneaking in as well, 7 points. Yeah, real nice line. Kenny Gainwell. I feel foolish anytime I don't have Kenny Gainwell in, truthfully. He has been an absolute beast. I don't have the updated stats after this week, but coming into this week, the last 6 weeks' target share is basically for running backs is Christian McCaffrey, first-round elite pass catcher. Bijan Robinson, first-round elite pass catcher. Jameer Gibbs, first-round elite pass catcher. Tyron Tracy, former wide receiver, and Kenneth Gainwell, fifth-round pick from 5 years ago, who has outshone all of his previous years. I think he might be Aaron Rodgers' favorite player. I think he might get targeted 100% of the snaps now that DK Metcalf's going to be suspended 2 games. This is just a Kenneth Gainwell, what a player monologue. But yeah, congratulations, Peach532197. Update our username, make it easier for us. But yeah, great lineup.
Like they want.
Well, they've been getting these tips from somewhere. I'm sure we shouted out Olave and Bijan probably.
I was good to see Olave have a big game, to be fair.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I think he's like up to wide receiver 6 in fantasy on the season. And maybe he finally has a quarterback.
I think he might be sticking around now, Tyler Shucks. I don't know, tricking around. Shout out to Saint, can I just quick shout out to Saint City and me guys as well. They have their Christmas meet up to watch the game as well, and we're just getting they just got absolutely smashed watching it. It was great. I see some of the videos and the posts. It was great. They look like they had a great time. So shout out those guys for
and if you're gonna play Fantasy Game Day, use our promo code COVER, COVER, all capitals. You'll get a free £7.50 play on your first deposit and first played entry. And shout out to you, Paul, for not attending the Saint City and me meetup and cursing them with a loss. Because
that's true, actually. Yeah,
everywhere you go, you bring a loss with you. Don't curse Charlie Smith. Don't curse the fleur-leaf clover.
It's not taking off like I thought it was going to do, the fleur-leaf clover.
No, I think I'm going to have to knock up some artist imagery. And you know me on Canva, this is going to be some hot shit. So
it's a Cindy job, is it? Yeah.
It might be a Cindy job, might be a Charlie job. It won't be a me job, I'll tell you. I might be able to doodle it on a paper, but I
did have a look at trademarking it, but it's like you get a lawyer and shit to do it. So maybe one for your end, you might be able to do it. And it's probably more important, it gets done in America, to be fair. So
I'll do my best. I might reach out to Charlie, our guy, and see what he thinks of it. But we will see you after Christmas. We're going to be recording our Week 17 preview when the regular season used to end. We'll be recording that right before Christmas. We'll be releasing it, I believe, Boxing Day, our regular Friday schedule.
It's that Friday, isn't it? Yeah, it will be.
Yeah.
Oh, 14 winning bets. 14 winning bets this week.
14 winning bets. Yeah, let me pick up the sheet and have a...
Yeah, do you have a race through them, Byron, quickly?
I will have a race through them, indeed. Yes, indeedy. So we started out Thursday Night Football really strong. Paul had Rams plus 1.5. First half
What
under
cover?
21.
What cover? Plus 1.
Oh, you covered. I was like, yeah, and I just say you did. Joe had AJ Barnett anytime TD at 9-4. On Saturday, we had Luke Musgrave, 30 plus receiving yards, Joe, 2-1. What a bet that is. Never would have thought of Luke Musgrave. I had Eagles minus 10.5 late, early Saturday. They're in the wrong order on our sheet. Minus 10.5, 77-50. That was a bit touch and go, I must say, for a lot of the game, but he got there. Jags Broncos. Paul, you had Broncos over 2.5 sacks. I don't see an odds with it, so I'm going to guess it was around 11-10.
Yeah, I'll find it. It was something like that, yeah.
I had a T-Law TD at 5-1. Do you know
Nice.
Trevor Lawrence has more rushing touchdowns than Bijan Robinson this season? He also has more carries inside the 10-yard line, which, come on, Atlanta. Saw yourselves.
Tyler LG. Is Trevor Lawrence the second coming of Cam Newton? So that's what
I put
people
out
say.
a month ago, is Trevor Lawrence a better quarterback presently than Lamar Jackson? And they laughed at me. They scoffed at me. They largely ignored me on the internet, I will say, is what happened. I think they were scoffing. We had Patriots plus 3. That was me on last night. Paul, you had Derrick Henry 2 plus TDs at 4-1.
Yeah, that was nice.
You had the Chargers over 50 with the Cowboys. Vikings minus 2.5. Joe, you had the Bills Browns over 41.5. Bucks Panthers under 45.5. The Giants Vikings under 43. When do you put that on your fourfold? That's what I'm wondering.
I think I might have already taken it.
That makes sense. I had the Bengals over 30.5. I'm not sure if I had any individual player props looking at them immediately, but we had a lot of winning bets.
You had Gesicki on your ladders, didn't you? So I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so either. That's why I was trying to skim past them and say I don't know.
Sorry,
but yeah, you just hammer it home that it's a no. Sure, mate.
Merry
Tis the
Christmas.
season. And yes, we will see you after Christmas. We're not doing a Christmas preview because the games stink. If they were good, we'd have put the time in. But the games stink. Blame the NFL, blame Netflix, blame somebody that isn't us.
We just gave you a combined 40 minutes on the Giants and Browns, so that's your Christmas present.
That is your Christmas present. You've all been naughty this year. We'll see you Friday for the preview. We'll see you Saturday for our Fantasy Game Day 10-minute tips. Have a wonderful Christmas, whatever you celebrate. Have a great time. Enjoy being with your family, your loved ones, or just watching the game and chilling out and being by yourself. Whatever makes you happy, I hope you get to do it this week. We will see you Friday.